mentioned that innocent Kalimashi Ama Americans was one of the people who was actually spearheading some of the cadres who were beating UPND youths.
They at the center.
Yes. Now, don't you think that it's more like transferring one problem to the ruling party, and we are going to experience the same violent activities that we used to see in the previous regime?
So on that one, I have a different perspective, because I don't feel and think and believe that the UPND will allow Kalimashi to actually be who he was, and bringing him.
What guarantees that? Because you can take me out of the ghetto, but you cannot take the ghetto out of me.
So this is the thing: when the UPND got into power and got into government, the president and the leadership in the party at structural level had the notion, and they preached, and they even said it: if you cause violence, you are on your own. These are things that we have been seeing. I have seen the peacefulness in Chawama. I have seen how the motorcades, Yatonse, ya UPND, cross passing, and people throwing different symbols, and that wouldn't happen in the UPA, the time PF was in power. That was not going to happen. That wouldn't happen. There were soldiers, and right now the UPND is promoting that instead of their people, even instead of the young people going to gyms, because in PF we had a lot of them. Now they have gone down. Mimbulu. They have gone down, But then it was a notion that Pali camp, there's people are just going to lift weights, and that lifting of weights is to protect, in inverted commas, whoever who's in the party. But in the UPND, we are seeing a notion where the leaders themselves are preaching to say, we're not taking our youths to go lift weights, we're taking them where for skills development. We saw that when one Mwali Teta was speaking on one of our shows here, Oxygen of Democracy, and said, "Peleka bantu batu kuma gym, peleka kuma skills training." So I think with that mindset change, or with that environment,
but is that what is happening on the ground?
I want to believe that's what's happening, because I've seen less of.
Don't believe you've been there, like
yes.
You were there yesterday.
Yes, I was there.
Didn't you see any Mimbolu? Didn't you see any youths who were wearing, maybe militia, military regalias? The
number has really changed. The number has gone down. If to say that the Mimbulu, no, that would be a lie. But I think they were there, one or two, but they were not as scary as they looked in the PF. They're not wearing office wear for our people in uniform. No, they were not wearing that. They were just in Legalia, ya Uncle Mogi. So at the end of the day, I want to believe that the number has changed. Of course, we can't do away with it, because we've seen this same Mimbulu on bus stations. We've seen this same Mimbulu in Quinta City, and we see them here and there, but the number has changed, and the type of influence they had has depleted now. So I want to believe that we are in the right track with the Patriot, with the UPND, and I also want to believe that Raino has probably changed his mind. We don't know yet, but we'll still follow up and see what's going to be of the UPND with Uncle Ino.
All right. However you would, flower it, make it seem nice, but myself, I don't believe that. Yes, you can take me out of the ghetto, but you cannot take the ghetto out of me. Just try to provoke me, then something ghetto-ish will come out at some point.
No, but he's been controlled. He's being controlled. He's been controlled. He's been neutralized. Mr. Mosquito beat him. I think he's got cerebro now.
Well, dear viewers, there you have it. You are watching Prime TV2 Sunrise Breakfast Show, and we are coming to you live on Topstar Channel 110, and also streaming live on our Facebook page as Ptv2 Zambia. We now take a break. When we return, we confront a painful national reality raising defilement cases in Eastern Province. Don't go away.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Mill Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Mill Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
Early in the morning,
Welcome back. You are watching Sunrise Breakfast Show right here on Prime Television Zambia, Prime TV2, so to say. And we are coming to you live on Topstar, channel 110, and also streaming live on our Facebook page, that's Ptv2 Zambia. Now, almost every day, police statements from Eastern Province report another case of defilement. The question is no longer whether there is a crisis, but why it continues, who is failing, and what must change. Joining us on our program today is our Eastern Province reporter, Christopher Basilio Banda. Good morning, Mr. Banda, and welcome to the Sunrise Breakfast.
Thank you so much, and good morning, Mike.
Thank you so much. How is Eastern Province this beautiful morning?
Eastern Province is fine. We've been receiving good rains so far, and last night it was it's good so far.
I hope you're taking advantage of this good rain pattern to go farming.
Of course, Eastern Province is a hub of farming, and
Well, let's go straight into the conversation today. What do the latest statistics tell us? Are defilement cases increasing, or is reporting simply improving?
Thank you so much. I think Eastern Province has, in the recent past, recorded, high numbers of, cases of defilement, and this is a worrisome situation. And you may wish to know that, Eastern Province, in a single year, last year in 2025, the province recorded 209 cases of, defilement, and this is the highest number so far the province has recorded in a single year. So the number is, worrisome, and stakeholders, organizations are very much worried with these cases of, defilement being recorded in the province, and cases are increasing day by day. Even as we enter into 2026, already from 1st January 2026 to 9 January, the province has already recorded 7 cases of defilement, and this is not good for the children.
Right. Well, now the disturbing, situation in Eastern Province actually shows that perpetrators are close relatives to the victims. Now, why is this the case?
Yeah, I think that is a situation that is so worrisome because the perpetrators of these victims, are people that are close to them. There are rare circumstances where maybe a person who is not known, defiling these children, but the people that are close to them. For example, you see the people that are supposed to protect these children are the first ones that are perpetrating these vices. You see in school a teacher defiling a pupil, instead of a teacher providing a future for the child. They are the ones that are, finding themselves, defiling these pupils. You find that maybe a stepfather, taking advantage of, the vulnerable child to defile her. There are also circumstances where maybe brother-in-law defiling, the sister-in-law who is the younger sister to the wife. The uncle, defiling the niece. And there are also circumstances, where pastors, defiling these girls that are congregating in their churches. There are, a number of stories, about 3 cases that were recorded in Chipata, where pastors, were caught defiling, these children. So it's a situation that is, worrisome, because these are the people that are supposed to be the first ones to protect the rights of these children, but they are the first ones to abuse the rights of these children by defiling them.
This time around, not only a girl child is not safe, but also a boy child is not safe as well. Some few days ago, you reported a story where a boy child was actually defiled. Maybe bring us to light over that story.
Yeah, I think most of the stories that have been reported concerning girls being defiled, but we've also seen a ton of events where even boys being abused sexually. There was a story indeed of a boy in Katete, a 4-year-old boy that was defiled by a teenager. The girl who defiled this boy is also a juvenile, but of a good age. So we saw a situation where this boy was, playing with the friends, and this girl just went and picked him and went to their house, where this boy was sexually abused. So it's a sign that it's not only girls that are at risk. Also, boys are at risk of these gender-based violence cases, where cases of defilement are concerned.
Well, now after
happening in Eastern Province, are police investigations and court process moving fast, and finally, firmly enough to deter would-be offenders?
Yeah, I think that is where the issue is, because for the police, their job is to arrest. Once a report is given, the police are doing their work by arresting these perpetrators. But talking about fast disposal of cases in court, I think that is where the situation is, because defilement cases are tried by subordinate courts, and once the suspect is found guilty, they are referred to the High Court for sentencing. So the process of case disposal these cases seem to take a bit of some time, and this does not give a proper deterrence to the who will be offenders. I think because cases are not being disposed of quickly. You may also wish to know that according to the statistics, the 209 cases that were reported in 2025, you may see that those that were arrested were only 86, and
Mr. Banda, are you still there?
seems like network.
But let's see if we can get back Mr. Banda so that he can explain to us what is transpiring in terms of defilement cases right there in Eastern Province. Dominic, we have heard these statistics that are in Eastern Province. Your comment, because we've heard that just last year there were 299 defilement cases, and just some few days ago, our reporter, Mr. Banda, also reported that a 4-year-old boy was defiled by a 17-year-old girl in Katete.
It is not only disturbing, but it is very disgusting that people should indulge in such activities. And with this turnout of event that a 4-year-old boy was defiled, I want to believe that this is not the only case. And there are more cases where young people are being treated like this. Young men actually are being defiled, and nobody talks about it that much because of the perception of how a man should be and how a man should live. And it's just not right. It's very saddening.
Sure. Yeah. But where's really the gap in the community system or the community vigilance, law enforcement, also social support systems? Because, those days people used to say, maybe bakazi, vana wakazi sivavala bwino, and everything like that. But this time around, you are seeing a situation whereby a day-old baby would be defiled by, someone. Maybe the father, stepfather, uncle, maybe a 1 week old, 1 month, and everything like that. But what's there to even, have last to a 1-year-old baby?
We are slowly shifting from our tradition and our culture. Mm-hmm. Hence, we are covering that void or that lacuna with different norms and different beliefs, where people believe that if I nikagona na mwana nzanka na laki ya so nikagona na 2-year-old chani, maybe AIDS is asila, maybe chan. There are many notions. So if you I had a conversation with someone and they said behind these activities that these people do, which look to be not normal, there are things that they were taught that they believe. So we need to get back to culture, our own culture, and we need to be sitting with our elders, let them tell us stories, let them teach us how to live, because that gap is being covered up by different norms and different beliefs that are taking turns. Moreover, we've got different types of physicians who are claiming to be physicians, who give different norms, witch doctors, different churches. It's just becoming crazy, and it's becoming the world is now getting congested with wrong things and wrong thoughts. So I think that's where the gap is.
What role should parents, churches, traditional leaders play to ensure that these cases actually reduce, as well as where are we falling short?
Our parents, firstly, should understand that their responsibility is not only to take us to school and make sure that we are able to be at school. They should be there in our daily lives. They should teach us. They should be telling us the hard topics. We talk about things of sexual abuse. We talk about things of relationships. We talk about things of how to keep a partner. And. That's the role that our parents should play, not just paying for us school fees and making sure that we are able to go to school. Secondly, the church. The church should not just preach about tithing. No, the church should teach us also, re-echo the words that we should be talking about in our homes. Re-echo how we should live healthy sexually. Re-echo how we should live healthy mentally. Re-echo how we should live healthy financially. And our leaders also, our community leaders, should be keen in taking interest in such issues, because these things happen. Usually our community leaders are the ones that usually want to hide these things because of such cases happen with someone who's very close to you. Imagine your brother, your husband defiles probably your sister, and this husband of yours is the breadwinner, you see. So just that case being the weight of that nature. Now, when someone comes, it's either they are given something, or now the same family again will protect. No, because he's giving us this and ABCD, whatnot, and. So again, our leaders should be keen to make sure that such things are taken to book and those culprits are dealt with without fear, now without even remorse. Let the courts do their part. Let the system work. I think that's the role that they should play.
Last year, we saw a rise in defilement cases, and a lot of citizens across the country were actually protesting or showing solidarity to the victims. And some, were calling placards, actually indicating that issues of defilement, cases, rape should be non-bondable or bailable. Your thought on that?
The moment that is taken into law, we will see the reduction of such cases happening, because such cases are bailable, such cases are allegedly discussable. So when that happens, I feel that we are going to be on a better place and better position.
All right. So Mr. Christopher Basilio Banda is back, and would like to find out if he's still on the line. Mr. Banda, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we
Yes, sir. So I'm back. So
Mr. Banda.
yes, Mike, I'm able to get you.
Yes. We were talking about a 4-year-old boy who was defiled by a 17-year-old girl, and I posed a question to you: if at all a boy child is safe this time around? Are you able to get me, Mr. Banda?
Yes, I'm able to get you now.
Yes, I wanted to find out the details of the story that you covered some few days ago, where a 4-year-old boy was allegedly defiled by a 17-year-old girl in Katete, and you were taking us through the process and how the story was in detail. So maybe can you highlight and maybe summarize on the story?
Okay, so the story is about a 4-year-old boy that was defiled by a 15-year-old girl in Kitete, and this boy was just playing with his friends when this girl just came and grabbed this boy, picked this boy, took him to her house. Where the boy was, sexually abused, and this boy came out in the house crying. It was because of the injuries he suffered, during that, sexual abuse. And that is how the mother now started asking the boy, and the boy revealed to the mother that he was injured on his private parts by the girl that took him to her house. So that is a situation that really shows that it's not only a girl child who is at risk of being defiled. Even boys, young boys are also at risk, and it's a matter of taking care of both girls and boys, so that they are all protected.
Well, I was just
with Mr. Dominic Apili here over last year, where we saw a lot of stakeholders actually taking to the streets, protesting and showing solidarity to the victims of defilement case and incest as well. They were demanding that the law enforcement agencies or the lawmakers in parliament should actually make a law that ensures that the victims or perpetrators of defilement, rape, they are not given bond or bail. Maybe what are stakeholders in Eastern Province saying over the same issue?
Oh yeah, so there are a number of stakeholders here that are also trying to push for stiffer punishment to these perpetrators of defilement, where once they are arrested, no bond should be given, and maybe even the sentencing should even be more than what these people are given now, so that maybe it could deter who would be offenders. Really, in Eastern Province, we've seen Plan International, helping, to organize the chiefs, maybe to also make bylaws that would protect these children from cases of defilement, cases of teenage pregnancies and child marriages. So really, there are organizations that are pushing for that, in trying to see that a girl child, not just a girl child, but all children are protected from sexual abuse.
Well, as we conclude our interview,
and if decisive action is not taken now, what are the long-term implications for the safety, education, and future of the girl child, as well as the boy child, in such situations?
Yeah, so if these things are left unchecked, of course, it's the future of our children that will suffer, because these children, once they are defiled, they become traumatized. Most of them, they become traumatized, and in some circumstances, they are not, these girls are not just defiled. Most of them, once they are defiled, they are also impregnated, and once this girl becomes pregnant, the future is dimmed, and the school journey is disturbed, and for the child to come back to school, it takes a lot of time, and maybe even the concentration is not even there. And what's enough, most of these girls also given diseases such as STIs and even HIV and AIDS, which they live with them for the rest of their lives. So you can imagine a young child being defiled and given HIV and AIDS, and that is the situation which the girl will have to endure for the rest of her life. It's something that is it is so disturbing, and it's the future of these girls that is being disturbed.
well, Mr. Christopher Banda, thank you for
insight, and we'll continue getting in touch with you so that you can be giving us more details on what is obtaining on the ground in Eastern Province as far as defilement cases are concerned. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, dear viewers, you are watching Sunrise Breakfast Show right here on Prime Television Zambia 2. And we are coming to you live on Topstar channel 110 and also streaming live on our Facebook page. That's Ptv2 Zambia. You can drop your comments on the Facebook page, and we'll be able to read them out later during the show. Right now, we take a short break. When we return, we'll be looking what's trending in far as newspapers are concerned. Don't go away. Welcome back. You are watching Prime TV2 Sunrise Breakfast Show, and I'm joined by my colleague, Mr. Dominic Kapili, the ever-smiling guy.
Thank you so much, boss. Thank you so much, Mr. Musa. And to viewers, please keep in touch with us. You can always send your text message. Of course, you can drop your comment on Facebook. And if you can also comment on YouTube, we'll be there to read your message and also see what you are, what input that you have brought in. Yes, and now, of course, we are delving into what is trending on our, what's trending on the headlines in our newspapers in the country today. And we'll have a brief discussion on a few headlines and see. We also want to hear from you what your view is on these particular newspapers. So to start with, we are starting with the News Diggers. Mr. Musa, the News Diggers says, people want Mundubile, but the PF wants to block him.
Well, I was actually there at the PF Secretariat when Brian Mundubile was filing in his nomination to show his interest to aspire as a presidential candidate. And I just saw the crowd, how it was. And I was like, oh my goodness. The PF really still has people. Quite right, it was kicked out of government, but it's still strong in terms of its grassroots. And we saw the multitude that, flocked in support of Brian Mundubile. It could be true that people want Mundubile, but PF wants to block him. And we saw how Given Lubinda expelled him actually from the party through the Secretary General. Is it Acting Secretary General?
Yes,
Mr. Mkandila, yeah.
But the crowd that these people are pulling, these people are pulling the same people. The only difference, even when Given Lubinda was going there, all the candidates, even when, the only difference is the top leadership. That's the only difference. But the crowd they are the same people. At the end of the day, these people are just Patriotic Front sympathizers, Patriotic Front members. Most of them, of course, were bought. Most of them, of course, are sympathizers of the UPND. So I feel the politics is just on the top leadership, and the fighting is on the top leadership. But for me, Mundubile was more sober and more mature, and maybe that's why he was fired.
And later during the show, we'll talk about the cracks that are happening in the Patriotic Front as well as the Tonse Alliance. But let's look at another headline.
Another headline, still on the Diggers. This is ECZ clarifies 8.8 million provision of voter register.
Right, so we are still in the News Diggers newspaper. You said ECZ clarifies 8.8 million provision of voter register.
Yes.
Right, now, ECZ last year had, a target to register, is it about 3.5 million people?
Yes,
yes, and the target was not met. So we don't know going forward how they are going to go about it. And, talking about now clarifying 8.8 million provision of voter register. Well, we're yet to see what, the details of this story has and what ECZ, has been updating the members of the public, because, stakeholders have been on the ECZ when it comes to the voter register and everything like that.
Yeah, then going forward, further kwacha gain could hurt exports. This is a comment. This is by Koma. Says kwacha export gain could further kwacha gain could hurt exports. There are a lot of things being talked about the kwacha gaining, and then speculations. There are specialists, economists are giving their position. I would like to see where this is going. When the dollar reaches 15 kwacha, I want to see what's going to happen in the economic space. Then I'll give my comment.
Or buy a lot of cars.
All
right, but yeah, for the past few weeks, the kwacha has been showing its muscle against other major currencies, which is actually a good thing when it comes to international trade, because things that will be coming in Zambia will be cheaper, and we just hope that this trend will be sustained for a longer period. It will not be cosmetic, because most of the time you'd find that in a week the kwacha may perform very well, and in another week the kwacha would, not perform so good. And we hope that this will also transcend to the goods and services that, us residents and consumers have to enjoy or buy. We need to see the cost of living also coming down, because when the kwacha is performing very well, that means the imports that we usually have in Zambia, it becomes cheaper. So when things become cheaper that we import, and by the way, we import a lot of things, should also transcend to on the ground, like what is happening on the ground. So, for example, if a packet of sugar that we import is buying at maybe 20 kwacha, then when the dollar, shows its muscle and, improves, that means the price of import reduces as well. And it should transcend to what should obtain on the ground, whereby even the cost of that sugar, which we usually buy at 20 kwacha, should also come down, because the kwacha is doing fine against other major currencies. But we see a situation whereby, despite the kwacha showing its gain, but the price of commodities remain the same or higher. That means people are not feeling the effects of the kwacha, doing so well.
It just becomes a rumor, which is quite usually the case most of the time.
Oh, yes.
But this time we hope really things will get to change swiftly, and as the kwacha goes down, I believe, to 15 kwacha. Going on to the must newspaper, the first headline is HH unfit to rule. His divisive talks has disqualified him.
Well, on that one, as citizens, we've got the freedom of speech, and we are mandated to make comments. But I think this headline actually came so strong. I don't think if Hakainde Hichilema, His Excellence, is unfit to rule Zambia, because if you have seen international headlines, our president is being appreciated. He inherited the coffers of this country when, they had a lot of holes in the pockets. for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
Yes, and he has managed to strike deals with the International Monetary Fund, and also, you know, the things that actually the previous regime failed to do. This same president, Hakainde Hichilema, has managed to put things in order and put Zambia on the right trajectory. Talk about the flyover bridges that we have in Lusaka. Do you know that the money that was used to construct all these things was borrowed?
See, wasn't that money funded? Wasn't it donor funded?
No, the money was borrowed, and Zambia, you know, the government at some point had to repay that money. And, you know, during the previous regime, we used to see how people would throw money like, you know, it's leaves.
Drama.
And where was that money coming from?
Tenzo diam.
So Nadia Mumda. Yes, and you know, I would say President Hakainde Hichilema has actually restored sanity, where we don't waste money, but we use money for a good, you know, purpose. And I don't agree with Mr. Msoni when he says President Hakainde Hichilema is unfit to rule. I don't agree.
But you know, we have never seen in the history of Zambian politics having opposition leaders being taken and tried, being incarcerated. Just recently, a very good friend to the late President, His Excellency Edgar Chagwa Lungu, was being questioned by DEC, you know, and unfit, you know. I'm starting to think.
You know, I would say you Zambians, but anyway, I'm Zambian as well. But I would say you Zambians mesmerize me a lot and amaze me a lot, because you know, look at other people that are being arrested, that are not public figures, that are not politicians. We've got people that are usually arrested, but we don't talk for them. And when a politician steals from you and is arrested, you want to raise on top of your voices and condemn the government or the law enforcement agencies for arresting such an individual. Do you know the impact those people that steal from us, they caused to you, your children, and your future generations?
How possible is it that all the opposition leaders who are supposed to be giving checks and balances were stealing?
You know, law enforcement agencies have to investigate. And they've got a right to question where the source of money you used to buying the socks that you're wearing. And if the explanation is not clear, that means you stole, sir. They have to check, how much do you get paid per month? Does it correlate that you can buy a Mercedes-Benz with the current salary that you're getting? If not, they have to ask. So if those politicians, they were, you know, showing us their luxurious life, and when you put pieces together, the luxury life that they are living doesn't even match with the money that you're getting. And when the law enforcement agencies pounce on them and they cry foul, you want us to sympathize with them? No, they have to account to, you know, the kind of life and the things that they have.
Na present bwana sure they took na present sure I need zona.
No, but even Archbishop Alec Banda is not immune to, you know, the law enforcement agencies. Quite right, he's a man of God, but are we supposed to protect, you know, the clergy in such situations?
That was just a present. When talks were being talked about, that card we took. Now,
you know, some institutions have got regulations and policies. Do you know that some institutions don't allow you to receive a gift? When you receive a gift, you have to declare it. But did he declare it? That's the question.
No, on that one, I will not answer for him because...
And, you know, some institutions have got policies whereby you have to receive a gift maybe that does not exceed maybe 3,000.
But you know, these positions of leadership, it is per tradition. You know, even when I'm going to visit our chief, or kind of Palavana kuja Nchongwe wants to visit the chieftainess, I can't. It's just in me that I can't go empty-handed. It's tradition. At least I have to take something. So you know, it's very difficult.
So it's very difficult to Dominic, listen. In as much as it is tradition or a custom, but some institutions live by rules and regulations. I worked for a Catholic institution, and do you know that there are actually priests or sisters or nuns that vow for poverty, to live a life of poverty?
They vow to live a life of poverty.
Exactly. So they are not allowed to even own something. To own land, they're not allowed. To own a vehicle, they are not allowed. So when you gift them a vehicle, they have to declare it to the church. It doesn't, it will stop being theirs. It will belong to the congregation where they belong. So I'm not sure the congregation, the Archbishop, Dr. Alec Banda belongs. I don't know if he's a diocesan or a religious, but it depends. So if you receive something, you have to declare it to the church. It stops being yours. It becomes the church's property because you vowed for poverty.
Interesting. Also, going forward, one of the headlines on the mass newspaper today, unite now or else. Binwa Pundu wants the opposition. Binwa wants the opposition.
Well, there's so much happening in the opposition, and we hope with only, is it 7 months remaining before we go to the pause?
Yeah.
The opposition will unite, because we really need the opposition to offer checks and balances to the government for it to be on its toes to actually work for the citizens. But when it comes to the opposition, I'm seeing, a shift of how things are moving. Political parties have stopped being oppositions. This time around, the major and biggest opposition is the people, the citizens themselves. Promises, and seeing if the promises that the government made are being fulfilled, but they will act on the day of election.
The opposition is not working. The opposition is not functioning. That is why the biggest opposition now is us, the people. We expect the opposition to look at the CDF. If I'm an opposition in Palavana, I'm supposed to look at the CDF and see how many people in Palavana have benefited from the CDF.
Do you have an opposition in Palavana?
In Palavana, no. We don't. In Palavana, we do. Yes, there are different candidates who want to stand on different platforms, on different platforms, with different vehicles. But my thought is, when in Palavana, if I want to stand in Palavana and I'm in the opposition, I'm supposed to monitor closely what the government promised. Is it fulfilling? If it's not fulfilling, I should hold them accountable.
So it should be issue-based.
It should be issue-based. I should give solutions and say, if you have failed this, do this. For example, in Palavana right now, the minister was boasting to say, she put on her Facebook page that the projects that she has done under CDF. And one of the projects she's saying is an ablution block that is done and functioning, and it's there on her Facebook page saying this one is done and functioning. And it's not functioning. As an opposition leader in Palavana, I'm supposed to point out and say this is not functioning. But if it has failed this way, do it this way. And it's not only in Palavana. I'm seeing a lot of constituencies. I'm seeing a lot of leaders who are saying that projects have been ticked, which they're not ticking, which the opposition are missing out. And these are issue-based things that the people around will see this person has a heart for us. That is what we are missing. But the only thing we're talking about is, Sanakambe Buinopaja. Atishta Bwanji. There's a rally this side, Adwala. He's sick. He tell us you're sick.
Zapato,
Yongambika. Sir.
Oh, I'm not talking about you. I saw that you checked your shoe. Maybe I have to inspect it nicely.
These things you need to be very careful, sir.
You may never know.
You see, so we need such politics. We need such leaders in our circle, in our country. But now our leaders are not doing that. They are doing cheap politics. Look at what is headlining today on our daily newspapers. What they're talking about, that's not what we need. At the end of the day, us the people are now the ones who are being the actual politicians, who are being the actual opposition, who are even saying this is not good. We are seeing it ourselves. So we need to overhaul the brains of our opposition leaders because.
Akili kandat.
Aluna opposition man.
Kutia. Okay, let's move on.
No cigarettes near schools demands NGOs.
This is in the mass newspaper.
No cigarettes. Sir, what's your comment?
Well, the most affected people are being smoked around schools. That means the pupils or learners are the ones that will be more affected, the passive smokers. I don't know if you've ever experienced a situation whereby you are seated near someone who is smoking and that smoke, you are inhaling it as well.
I think I have done a lot.
What's your experience?
In town, it was just irritating and I had a serious headache after that because I'm very sensitive to smell. So I had a serious headache after that and it was very irritating.
And do you know that it's an offense actually to smoke in public right here in Zambia?
It's an offense?
Yes.
These things. This is what our politicians should be telling us. Things that really matter about our health and about our laws.
That's public nuisance. So if just even spitting on the ground, you can be arrested. And it's only that, this time around, our law enforcement agencies are not maybe up to the task to, arrest people or perpetrators of such, crimes, but it's really an offense. There are people who've got the tendency of urinating, let's say in town, just near a tree, you urinate. That's an offense as well. You can be arrested. That's public nuisance. And the council has got the mandate. It's actually mandated to deal with such people that, involve themselves in such activities. It's an offense.
Is it that the council is not doing its job or something? Because the council, because usually we see these council workers, and we see people smoking around these council workers,
So when you go to developed countries or maybe to Livingstone, there are hotels. There are places or maybe rooms which they would even label smoking bay. So you don't just smoke anyhow. So if you are a smoker and you would want to smoke, you go to that bay, to the smoking bay. That's where you find smokers smoking. That's where you find them. So I think even in our city setups, we shouldn't discriminate people that smoke, but they should create smoking bays for them. So instead of them smoking anyhow, munjira angoenda chabe, angobema chabe achidonsa, nacho nchitali siacho chabalani, achipomba. Paliponze chabe. It's irritating, and they should also consider the health of other people. Because in tobacco, there is nicotine. Nicotine is very dangerous when it settles in the lungs. It's more like glue.
Oh.
Yes. So it's really dangerous, nicotine. So these are some of the things these smokers should consider. That's the reason why they say tobacco is harmful to your body. But vantu wango kubema chabe, despite kuvolembewa, tobacco is harmful. Minawatu. Anyway, let's continue.
All right, dear viewers, you are still tuned to the Sunrise Breakfast Show. You can kindly put your comment in the comment section. What do you think about the headlines? What's your comment? We want to hear from you now. Going on to the daily Daily Nation newspaper, the Daily Nation newspaper, it's the People's Paper, Truth, Accuracy and Balance, has reported that HH, not a tribal president, Max Moe, the governing party media director, says President Hichilema has proven to be a unifier because his leadership is anchored on inclusivity, love and harmony. What do you say, sir, on this comment?
Well, I remember, or I saw, what actually the president said when he held the rally in Joma, where he actually was making a comment on an incident that was happening before 2021.
Yeah.
The president actually mentioned that if I was to use the same language that he was using, he was saying, Katutana bulelo before we got into power. Twagali kubona mwagali gumwa mwonga bogu intercity wasama boja red waumwa nkambo waguli wa gumusanza na gudundumwezi. Then they made a comment of gudundumwezi and people came out and said that's being tribal and everything. But honestly, wasn't that what was happening?
They made their own bus intercity station go downtown.
But that was the truth.
Colleagues.
The man was just saying what was obtaining on the ground. That was the truth.
Individuals.
Like for real, there are institutions such as ABSA, such as Zanaco, Airtel. Their corporate color is red. But do you know that such people used to fear to even wear their corporate shirts?
Individuals.
So, and when the president talks about such things, is that being tribal? There's nothing sinister about that.
That was too intense. I had to make even no.
No, like for real. It was very difficult for someone coming from Southern Province to actually move freely in intercity bus terminals and even use Tonga. So we really don't know what Tongas did to politicians such that they were mocked, and everything that has to do with Tonga was just something else. And we saw even the likes of is it Bizwe Mutale actually saying he's actually on record, Mr. Bizwe Mutale, who was saying there will never be a Tonga president. And even the late 6th Republican president repeated that, saying, okay, there will be, but not this one.
Not this one.
Yes.
And look, talking of Bizwe Mutale, I'm yet to see him, because this time is the time he usually comes back to the country and he acts and says, I have a country, and he comes to Zambia and wants to stand. I hope he's going to want to stand. I think you want to stand in Monali, because last time I believe that's where he wanted to.
All right, and maybe before we go to the next headline, a shout out to Mr. Gwen Lulamba, who is actually watching on Facebook, and he says, so the problem is he did not declare it. I don't understand. Help me to understand about Alik Banda. But like we mentioned, I'm not so sure if he was a diocesan or he is actually a religious priest, because these people, they vow differently.
Oh, yeah.
So there are people like the diocesan priest. They are allowed to even own a vehicle, to own a house and everything like that. Yeah. But religious priests, they vow for poverty. Okay. Yes, it's us in them.
Yeah, but yes, of course, we're yet to hear, because when he went to DEC, when he went for questioning, he went with his lawyers. So I want to believe we're yet to hear from his lawyers and yet to see the original stance of Alik Banda and what really happened through the lawyers.
Exactly.
So for now, we can just speculate and give our own unconfirmed opinions, and but we're yet to get to listen to, of course, what is factual and what is true. Going on forward to the Daily Mail newspaper, HH deserves a second term. Mutati. This is interesting.
Well, Bomtati, I don't know what he is basing that, but I think the people of Zambia have got the right to actually determine if the current president deserves a second term or Ankalewamu Yayaya.
He says it would be wrong to remove a president who is delivering.
Yeah, but anyway, their argument has been 5 years hasn't been enough for him to deliver. But we've got presidents like Gideon Duma Boko from Botswana, who is actually on record as well saying 5 years is enough for him to deliver, to change Botswana.
Yeah.
So a leader who actually wants an extension of more than 5 years, then there's something wrong about that leader. He's on record. So now I'm trying to bring it back to Zambia.
I just hope these are not, this is not a good path to now try to change the constitution going forward. Because you know these things, baluma fuzitira uyakambako so, listening to what the people's reaction would say. Is it how there's a what was I learning about communication at Grapevine, where first is it first uyakambako karuma ukuruma then kwa vaifaka to see what people are reacting. I just hope this is not going where we're going to start to change and say no, this is not enough, we're putting in extra years for the president. I hope that's not where we're heading to. But well, in terms of Zambia, Times of Zambia newspaper, 3,000 ditch PF ish members of the opposition party jump ish.
You know, I've got a problem when it comes to defections. Even when I'm reporting, defection stories, I usually have a problem because did they count that 3,000 people actually ditched PF? So the headline says 3,000 ditched PF, members of the opposition party jumping ship in mass. All right. But did they count how many people actually ditched the Patriotic Front, and which area is that?
I would speak like who's this? What is he saying? Sata, you so-called reporter, the so-called reporter. Ask them. And of course, this report is coming from Chawama, where we are seeing and where we're seeing different political parties.
Yes, but you were there in Chawama.
Yes.
Were there over 3,000 people that defected to join the UPND?
So actually, this report is trying to give a quantitative report from actually what has been happening in other parts of the country, in Eastern Province, in Chawama constituency, in Osaka. So these are just numbers that are being bundled up to just report what's going on. But in Chawama, we saw a good turnout of events of people, which was very shocking, especially when Innocent was actually defecting. Yes, we saw.
All eyes were on him.
Yes, and of course, he did sing. He's also a good musician.
What did he sing?
I've forgotten what that song was, but I was waiting.
Was it Ebenezer?
No, it wasn't Ebenezer. I was trying to give him a sign. Ebenezer, but he was not looking at me. But yeah, so we saw numbers of people going to the P and from the PF going to the Patriotic Front. I mean, from the Patriotic Front going to the UPND. But my perception is not that they are going there because of the party has performed. The people in Chawama understand that the opposition is not there. They know that our leaders are not united. The people in Chawama know, they have seen. And the reason why they're rallying behind the UPND is because they believe that they believe of the notion that it's their time. It is their time. So I'm looking at a situation where either they will be looking at the numbers, there will either be voter apathy in Chawama, or people are going in numbers to just vote because it's just the UPND who are there. Because if the UPND are the only party who are showing maturity, then they are the party in the ruling, they're the ones the ruling, they're the ones showing that they'll win, that they have won. The opposition is just fighting themselves and expelling each other in the leadership. So I hope things are going to be as, things will not be as I'm anticipating, but people will vote.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, so we're moving on to the other headline. Pembe farmer shot dead in cord blood in southern province. Pembe, this is very sad.
Sure. People shouldn't die in such a manner.
No. Then we have another one. PF confusion is PF is party's confusion
On making. Yeah, I've seen some politicians actually blaming the president of being involved in steering the confusion in the Patriotic Front. But how?
So it's of the notion that as the president, you need to safeguard the opposition.
But why should I safeguard your interest when I'm serving another interest as well?
The president should safeguard the interest of the opposition to safeguard democracy, because he should understand that even as they deliver their duties, they are not perfect. They will fall short, and they need a push. People who are going to criticize positively, objectively, on what the government is doing, what it is not doing, what it promised to do. Ask questions. Is this delayment failure, or is this delayment?
But is that the duty of the president?
Being president of a democracy, I want to believe he should be president over everything, even over people saying certain things about him, So I want to believe that's supposed to be his duty.
Well, let's see and watch how these confusions in the Patriotic Front are going, as we are only remaining with 7 months before we go to the polls.
Yeah, so I think that's actually all we had on the newspapers today. On our 5 newspapers, we discussed the News Diggers, Must, Daily Nation. We also touched on the Daily Mail, and we also finished with the Times newspaper. So now, overall, on what the headlines we're talking about, what is your view on how the reporting of our newspapers are doing? What's your overall comment about it?
Well, you have to understand that we've got state-owned tabloids, which the Zambia Daily Mail and the Times of Zambia, they wouldn't actually report something negative about the government. That's the reason why we saw a screaming headline actually, in the in the Times of Zambia saying 3,000 ditch the PF.
Ditch the PF.
Yes. So we see the Must actually criticizing whatever the government is saying, because it's a private-owned institution. So all in all, it's actually imperative for us journalists to report objectively, even as we educate, inform, and entertain the masses out there.
Yeah, but again, it's good because one side is the other side. It is balancing, and I feel that is what we need, and I think we should even we should give them credit. They should continue, because it's giving us a diverse opinion, and we're reading things differently. This is exciting. This one says this one says that. At the end of the day, it's good information to us viewers in the country.
All right, thank you so much. Dominic, we've been talking about, how the Kwacha is gaining momentum and how it's gaining the muscle. I don't know if Kwacha inaenda ku gym this time around or bunch, because it's doing fine. So this time around, let's check how the Kwacha is performing against other currencies as far as the money markets are concerned. 49 ngwe and selling at 22 kwacha 76 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 25 kwacha 83 ngwe and selling at 25 kwacha 92 ngwe. The South African Rand is buying at 1 kwacha 17 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 19 ngwe. Those are your money markets on Sunrise Breakfast Show. And also the weather forecast, Dominic. The weather has been changing, and I can see you're wearing a killer jacket, something which should be worn somewhere in Europe.
I am practicing, sir. I went to do that course for going outside of the country, that one.
Diplomacy?
Yes. So
But how come you don't even know the name of the course?
I've got faith, sir. The just shall live by faith. So, of course, let's look at what we have today, how the weather is, those that are planning on going out. Let's just see what the weather, so that we can guide them.
Well, thank you so much, our dear viewers. You are watching the Sunrise Breakfast on Prime Television Zambia 2. And we are coming to you live on Top Star Channel 110 and also streaming live on our Facebook page. That's Ptv2 Zambia, the home of breaking news. Dominic, so far so good. And I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. It's another weekend. Though it's
another week.
Yes, though it's another week.
Actually, this week is going to be packed. Hearing what will be waiting to what's going to happen in Chawama and what's happening.
And they'll be voting on the 15th of January.
This week is packed.
Yes, it's really packed, and we're looking forward to see that.
I think we should be spending time, at least 10 minutes, we go see what's happening in Chawama and give people live updates of what is going on in Chawama.
All right, Dominic, before we invite JC to just come and give us some updates on what's happening in the world of sports, there has been a lot that has been happening when we talk about the opposition, because we've labored to talk about the opposition. We saw, the Patriotic Front being under pressure, the Tonsi Alliance, which is visibly cracking, and divisions within the Patriotic Front are deepening. Over the weekend, Patriotic Front faction President Given Lubinda fired aspirant presidential candidate Brian Mundubire, and we just saw a headline. Was it in the mass newspaper or Diggers, while saying they are trying to fire Mundubire, but the people in the Patriotic Front actually want him. Now, meanwhile, the new Congress Party, NCP, says the eviction of the PF faction from the Tonsi Alliance has exposed deep power struggles and validated its long-standing concerns. NCP President Peter Chanda says earlier agreements, including adopting NCP as the alliance's electoral vehicle, were deliberately undermined. Maybe let's just listen to what Mr. Chanda had to say.
Right.
This year has begun on the sad note where I don't feel good to see, even if people have wronged you, even if people have accused you wrongly, and they've funded a lot of people to insult me, that I said bad things about ECL, I was condemning ECL, I was doing this. I want to state that I stand vindicated today, but for those that would want to learn the lesson, I'm a man of the collar called by God. And for all the leaders in PF, I want to state that today I forgive all those that have spoken ill about me. I feel bad to what has happened to PF. The Tonsi Alliance was formed on the premise of anchoring on the Patriotic Front. And today Tonsi Alliance feels they are bigger than the PF that they were anchoring on. But I made a decision, and we are standing as a political party alone without the PF. And we are competing in the by-election in Chawama without the PF. It is sad that those that have moved PF away from Tonse, they've really dishonored the legacy of ECL. Because in New Congress Party, there is no confusion. We are peaceful because we stand on the 4 pillars, and that is promoting peace, unity, stability, and productivity. We have not been bought by anyone, not even the ruling party. Today, I want to state that the culprits that wanted to take NCP away from us and the NCP leadership and take me out of the presidency, they have succeeded in removing PF from Tonse Alliance. So today, even the government, the UPND government that you were...
There you have it, dear viewers. That's NCP President Mr. Peter Chanda, actually talking about a lot of issues surrounding the Tonse Alliance, as well as claiming that his party was actually chosen by the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu to be an electoral vehicle. Not knowing if this was the plan B that the former president was talking about?
Maybe it was the plan B. But me, I'm of the view that the plan B has not yet happened. I feel the plan B is when Tasira will come and will just hear, no, Makebizo is president running it, is it Tasira Lungu? I think that is plan B. That's the one I'm waiting for to hear that one.
From the Tonse Alliance. And the New Congress Party also pulled out from the Tonse Alliance. The PF was actually expelled from the Tonse Alliance. And they're not participating, there are a lot of issues happening in the courts of law to do with the Patriotic Front, but we are seeing them participating, actually campaigning in the Chawama by-elections.
The Patriotic Front and the Tonse Alliance should sit down and come to an understanding for the sake of the people of Chawama. If they continue acting like this, nothing will happen, because it's not helpful that they should be fighting, expelling each other, pulling each other's legs, and not talking development and not talking unity. So this is not good. All these opposition presidents should put their heads together and start doing the right thing.
Well, dear listeners and viewers, there you have it. You are watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show on Prime TV2, the home of breaking news. And we're coming to you live on Topstar, channel 110, and also streaming live on our Facebook page. That's Ptv2 Zambia. We now take a short break. When we come back, I'll be talking to Jesse Blaze with what's happening in the world of sports. Don't move an inch.
Don't move.
Welcome back. There you have it. We continue with our breakfast show right here on Prime TV2, the home of breaking news. And in the studios, I'm joined by the man who is vested with too much information when it comes to sports. He eats sports, he sleeps sports, he lives sports. Everything about him is sports. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Jeremiah. Good morning and welcome to the Sunrise Breakfast Show.
Good morning to you, and thank you very much for according me this opportunity to come through and talk about sports.
It's an honor to have you.
Thank you.
You are an award-winning, individual when it comes to sports.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Well, over the weekend, there's been a lot happening in terms of sports. Just bring us to light what has been happening.
Well, I'll start with what we covered. Obviously, it's everybody's talk. Everybody's talking about the games that were happening yesterday. It was amazing that we were there and witnessed what really transpired. First of all, I'd like to recommend Biflo and Mwanajengwala for bringing people together, because they brought a lot of people from all walks of lives to come through and witness this memorable moment that happened and that transpired. And of course, peace should reign, and they have to work together, the musicians and comedians coming through. And not only those, we saw some media personnel came through as well, journalists that were part of it. We saw some of them that from boxing fraternity that came through, the likes of Esther Piri, Christopher Malunga, who is Oriental.
Actually, I didn't know that well. Esther Piri also sings.
Yeah, she sings as well.
Yes, because there's actually a song where she was saying, "Alami, I beat." So, I didn't realize, not until when I was told that it was actually Esther Piri who was behind that.
So Mike Ford did the song, and then they put Esther Piri's remarks. In fact, they just got it from one of the interviews that they did. Really.
Yes.
So she was also there, participated, and was amazing to see that. And so many people that came through, the two PSs from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and of course one of them were playing.
I saw that.
Pilato, just going back to being Pilato, the Pilato that we knew. And we saw the likes of JK coming through as well. We haven't seen JK in a long time. So he came through and was participating. MC Wabuino has always been there. We saw a lot of people. Michael Zulu as well. And I think it was amazing. I think the people that came through and how they really marketed this game is amazing. And I saw Nkweto to him. At one point he came to me and was talking to me and said, "Are you not embarrassed that these have managed these kind of people that came through, and from our professional football, we don't really have these kind of people." And I'll tell you, really, from the time I started watching football, especially at Woodland Stadium, the only time that we saw that big numbers is when we hosted Kosafa at Woodland Stadium, and then when Nkana was playing in Absa, where we saw a lot of people, even outside, they were there. They had already bought tickets, just the way that happened yesterday. We saw a lot of people buying tickets, but they couldn't go in. Most of them had the VIP tickets. It was full to capacity. And if you ask those people that were there, and VIP tickets finished 2 days before. That was on a Friday. By Saturday, VIP tickets were done, completely sold out. So you can imagine the enthusiasm that came through with people, despite the fact that the weather wasn't really looking favorable, but they still came.
Sure.
They still showed up. It doesn't matter. They didn't even care if it was going to rain or not. They just wanted to
actually
be
shows the love they have for the sport. The love they have for sports. And I think for me, it's a testament that sports is an equalizer. Sports is a unifier. It brings a lot of people together. It wasn't political. Nobody was talking about politics. They were just happy to see all these musicians, comedians come through and play football, and they enjoyed themselves to the fullest. And I must point out to say to people like Makitu, is one of those people that as organizing, in part of the organizing committee, has been organizer and multi-talented, the coach, and he plays pool as well. Sure. He plays pool, yeah. So there was a 16-man tournament that happened last year. So Makitu is the runners-up. He was the champion, but he's the runners-up. He was beaten by Microphone 7. Okay. Mordecai is one of those. And of course,
Kabova is another person that is very much into pool. He plays pool as well and football. You saw Kabova playing. So, yeah, Sheffield 187 missing a penalty. Everybody's talking about it. And
the numero uno.
And Mordecai is scoring an equalizer and score the winning penalty is also an amazing thing that happened. And I only hope that they will continue doing so, and has to stretch to other musicians, comedians. They can be put together, play against the media team. I think they're better.
Are you sure?
At OIDC, and they won it. There were different teams that participated in that, and the media team plays.
Did you play
in that media team when they won?
Yes.
No.
I would love to see your playing skills.
I only played one game. It was at Wunza, and then I played it after a very long time without kicking a ball, and I played it.
How did you feel after the match?
I felt really. It was nice actually playing, and I felt really good. After a long time. But of course, former editor, who is a PRO for Lusaka now, he played as well. He actually scored. Okay. We have Lance, who also played, so many people do play in that media team. But they're better players because they play every week. So they're better players and they play better than those musicians and comedians. But I'm not saying maybe they should incorporate them in one of these games. It's about unifying, bringing people together and all that. And I think that is the message that was preached throughout. And I think for me, it's first of all, it brings back a lot of healthy, because it's really fitness levels and everything, because
prevents communicable diseases.
Yeah, communicable diseases. And you know that these guys spend most of the times on computers, coming up with things that they have to really sing, and in the studios and all that. They don't really have much time for them to do all this and mingle with people.
So and it was a different environment means
different
a lot.
Environment. You have to be you. You have to be who you are. You're not thinking about your label. You're not thinking about the brand that you've created. This is you being you. If it is Makitu, being Makitu. Feel great, do everything that they have to do. They felt better, laugh with people and meet your fans and everybody, exactly how the fan base is. And for me, this shows that we can come up with a big event, with comedians doing their thing, musicians also singing, and go, for example, Hero Stadium and make it full to capacity. And I think we can do that. It's amazing.
One thing that actually intrigued me was seeing Barbara Banda and Rachel Kundananji also being part of the team.
And here's the thing, they didn't start today. Barbara Banda and Kundananji has been training them, giving them ideas. And I saw someone that has never played football before, and they were playing football for the first time, explaining and saying, I didn't know how a defender works, and I didn't know about all these things, but I now know. And I mean the know-how because of what Barbara Banda and Kundananji did, because Barbara Banda was a coach for musicians and
yes.
And then Kundananji for the comedians. So they really came together, and they've been really helping, and good thanks to the mid-term break that they have in the US. They couldn't have, actually they are not having games, but of course for Barbara Banda, she's coming from an injury, so it was the very first game after an injury that she played,
and Barbara Banda scored.
So that's a beautiful thing, and and I think it is a beautiful thing that should be happening. We have to commend them, and Biflo did a very good job together with Manager Wala, bringing all those people together, and making sure that we go and watch. And we were on our toes, just watching, and didn't have any space to move. You find somebody else has taken your place. So that's a big thing, and I think it should be extended, because we do have so many other musicians and comedians who are good at other sports disciplines. For example, we've got Tilo and Slab D, who is very much into basketball, so they played basketball before. So if you take them to basketball, they will play. Others who are with rugby, they can play rugby and all those things. And for pool, everybody else lanes and gets into it, because there's no much of the fitness levels and everything. But you really have to think when it comes to pool as well. But we've seen such happening, so it's a good thing that they're doing, and big up to Biflo and what they're doing, really. And the sponsors came in. It's a very good thing that they have to even pull sponsors. It's really difficult for one person to go and get sponsors, but together as a group. And it means that when we unite, we can do better, because there were no politics there. There was just football. And coming to the main sports, obviously we did have some of the youngsters who have gone to the contingent of 12 players with 2 coaches in Botswana. They've done very well. performed up to expectations, and I think this is the bridge that have been and these are some of the things that are happening in terms of tennis, because they're building more on the youths. They're really making sure that the youths are really given a platform to go and play. So we had under 16, under 14, and under 9 who are participating in that particular tournament in Botswana. A very good performance, and of course it's courage for them to continue doing so, and having a feel of what happens in international games, not just playing against yourselves. And I think having played with teams from Botswana, Morocco, Mauritius, Southern Africa actually, so all the Southern African boys and girls who were taken there to participate and play against them was a massive thing, and it's experience for them, and they will still remember that and will keep on working. And that participation, of course, we do have the BDG coming through, the Davis Cup. For the first time, we're participating in it, and as far as tennis is concerned, recommendation goes to the president, who's been really fantastic, and his executive working tirelessly and making sure that this works. And of course, the sponsors who came through to sponsor the team that went there and go and participate. They didn't go to government though. They have to really fund for themselves, which is a good thing, and it's commended for every other sports disciplines. Find your own money. Government should just join in and bring in. And in fact, what we should be looking at is government working towards infrastructure development. So we have so many infrastructures in our country, and instead of government giving every team that is going, every person that is going to participate in any tournament, you're going to government in the begging bowl. You don't have to do that. I think you can even use musicians to fundraise and make money, because they love it, and they can actually do that for us. Moving on, we did have some of the games that were happening in the MTN Fast Super League and Division 1, but I'll just talk about the MTN Fast Super League. We saw Nkana, Zesco United Power Dynamos played, and they didn't do very well because they drew. But of course, the talk is about Nkana. For the 14 games that they've played, they have been in the relegation zone, second from the bottom. Just after winning one game yesterday, beating Zesco United 2-1, they've gone out of relegation, and they're now above relegation, a point above relegation.
But what has been happening to Nkana? Because
transition.
For the past few years, Nkana hasn't been doing so well compared to these other years when they were on the prime.
Well, it's transition, and I think a lot of changes that have been made, because look, in most cases when you are buying players and money, because they didn't have a lot of big sponsors who came through, because you remember that most of the teams in the Copper Belt struggled. That includes Mighty and Frere Wanderers,
Mighty Tawina Chungo.
United. This is the time that we are seeing Ron United coming back in the picture. Ndola United are not even back, like really back, but they're still there
as well.
Those teams, because they were sponsored by ZCCM back in the day, so that's why they dominated. There was so much sponsorship, but now there's sponsorship that is coming from KCM for Nkana and Mighty and Frere Wanderers, but that's not much as it used to be back in the day. So at least that destabilized the teams and all that, and I think they're working towards regaining the performance, and of course the teams that have got money, Zesco United do have money. They're performing very well in the 21st century. I think this time around Zesco United and Zanaco have really dominated so much. They've played very well, and we have to really bring in the likes of Red Arrows, who've really been fantastic as well. They've been winning, and they're topping the table at the moment, Red Arrows. So those are some of them, because they've got money and they've got the sponsorship that is required for them to do better. There's Napsa Stars who've got sponsors, but they haven't really been doing very well. I think because of administration and what they've been doing. And I feel for me, these are some of the things that we have to copy from what happened to the musicians and the comedians in terms of getting people, to watch these games. I think we need to do better. We really need to do better. Whatever they were doing, let's go and copy. It doesn't really
consult.
Go and consult. Biflo, what did you do? Because we saw TikTok. Everybody was on TikTok. Everybody we saw the trainings and everything posting, and that's the power of Facebook and social media.
And maybe in some way, this was the time when Faz also should have taken a step to actually get interested in what was happening and everything like that.
They were. That's why we had the PR, the communications manager, Nkweto Tembo, who was there, and he was making notes. He was taking notes. He was capturing pictures and videos of what really transpired, and talking to B-Flow, because and Kweto is coming from the DJ's point of view. He did DJing and he did journalism and everything, so he understands how they relate with musicians. Most of those are his friends, the MC Wabuinos, B-Flows, and all those things, all those people that were there. He understands and he knows them, so it's easy for him to get in touch with them and get some of the information. And he told me that he's working towards such kind of a thing that happened to bring it, but he didn't really preempt it. But he just, in a nutshell, he just told me that we should really be doing some of these things that these guys did. So obviously we'll be expecting so much to come from Football Association of Zambia.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And finally, I just have to end with what will be happening tomorrow, the semi-finals of the Africa Cup of Nations. It's amazing. And look, some of these teams that have remained explosives, they're really good. So Nigeria will be playing against Morocco. It's a very big test for Morocco, because most of these teams that they've played, except for Tanzania and Mali, most of these teams were staying back, and they were really defending so much, and that respecting Morocco and giving them space. But I feel that Nigeria is different, because the front line is explosive for Nigeria. They've got a very beautiful attack, so it's going to be difficult for Nigeria. If they sit back, then they will be killing themselves. But I think they will go forward and they will press them and do better, because Morocco is pressed, they're really given no spaces. I think it will be a different case altogether. They might even lose against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Then when he was scoring, in the second game, the same things. When he was scoring a penalty, that's when we saw Mohamed Salah showing. But in these other games, when they won 3-1, it was amazing. It was fantastic. It was an orchestrator of all the goals that they scored. And going forward has been fantastic. Looking at Senegal also, Mane has been fantastic. It's been great because they've got a team around Sadio Mane. They're doing very well. So it's going to be explosive in the semi-finals of these games. It will be happening tomorrow. So we are in for big games, and no shocks for this Africa Cup of Nations. Unfortunately, we expected at least the likes of Tanzania, Zambia, shocking big teams. Yes. Nothing of that nature that happened. Goodness. So you remember that the last, in fact, it was just going according to rankings, and the last teams that are remaining in these are top rankings, top teams who are ranked higher than any other teams that have gone out. So it's amazing to see that happens. For the first time, the ranking speaks to the results that are coming from this Africa Cup of Nations.
Well, Zambia was eliminated, and where are you putting your money?
Well, for me, I don't really like putting money on any team, but I like watching freely and enjoying myself.
Which team do you think?
But I feel all these teams are really doing very well. I'll tell you one thing. Morocco, for me, despite the fact that a lot of people are saying they're higher ranked, and of course a lot of people are saying they're playing very good football, but I haven't seen them really do better. According to my analysis, they've really been one or two help from the referees, and they've really gotten that. But I feel
but it's the same team that actually humiliated us.
Yeah. Against Zambia, obviously, you know that any team could have humiliated us.
Come on.
No, because look at us. Because look, like I said before the Africa Cup of Nations started, if you do remember my remarks, I think we were doing, was it even on Christmas Day, yes. As well as New Year's Day, countdown to New Year, I said we are going for orientations. The players, most of the players have never played at the Africa Cup of Nations. The coach was the first Africa Cup of Nations as a head coach, but he's been there as an assistant once, and of course he went there as a head coach. The whole technical bench, as in being technical, yes, they've played football at the Africa Cup of Nations, like the likes of. In fact, they even won it at the coach and the two coaches. We're talking about Mwene and the physical trainer. Joseph Msonda won it in 2012. But as the coach, as the technical bench, they went there for the first time. So it was orientation. And then the coach was, so I think I do have reservations for coach. We respected our opponents. Look, the way we played against Mali, we were not supposed to sit back. We were not supposed to give them spaces. We were supposed to attack. We had nothing to lose. against Comoros, this is a team that we could have beaten. But we defended back. We were really defending, and we defended. And then against Morocco, the coach made a very. In fact, the lineup didn't have a striker. The only striker was Patson Daka. The rest of them, I think we had so many midfielders, so many defensive midfielders and defenders. And then you leave your best player in the final game. The best player at that particular tournament was Owen Tembo, and you leave him away from the lineup.
Oh my goodness!
The way the players was put, I think, wasn't really good enough for Zambia to even win and brag to win. But I think for me, we've got a future. We saw some flashes from the youngsters. Amasenya, we saw him play, and I think we have a left back, the left back for now. And Matthews Tembo, I think, was fantastic. He was really good. So many youngsters that came in. Owen Tembo is at Everation as well. He's been great. So many other great players who came in and played in that particular game. I think for me, that's a plus. But going forward, just going there and thinking that Zambia can win, no, I never expected that. Yeah, but just looking at the four teams, I think the best, the teams that I can actually say that they've been really great in all the games that they've played. Senegal, Egypt. It's going to be a very explosive game to watch because they all attack and they all play better. And a bit of an advantage for Senegal because they play a little bit of some physical game. So is Nigeria being physical against Morocco. But I think Nigeria will get into the finals. I don't know about Egypt and Senegal, but Nigeria will get into the finals.
Well, Jesse Blazer, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure having you. And now, maybe now viewers understand when I say you dream soccer, you dream actually sports, you live sports, you eat sports, everything about you is sports.
Yeah, thank you. And you know what? I just forgotten this. Mordecai played in the game that we went to play. There was a tournament, and Prime TV participated in that tournament. And guess what? We lost all the games.
Oh my goodness!
Rodwell scored a goal.
Okay.
Fireman was playing for the first time. Actually, Evans was part of that. Our team. Our goalkeeper was. He allowed, I don't know how many, 10 goals or something.
Oh my goodness!
Maidon was a goalkeeper. I just asked him, and there was a goal that was scored.
I wish I was there
on the center. He was 7 aside.
Oh my goodness!
And you know, because our team was only just the specific 7, you know, and Evans was sick.
Yeah.
He was complaining of the stomachache, but we were playing, so we didn't have the substitute.
Oh yeah.
And we played concurrently. Eish. That's why we lost those games. And these guys haven't been training. The likes of Evans. In fact, all of them are not training. I haven't played football in a long time, and coming to play was really because I was injured playing futsal. So I stayed for over 2 years without playing, and then I played. But for me, it was good. It was really good because I was playing with team players that I've never really played football at the highest level. But these other guys like Phoenix got players from who plays in the league, and I think even Mpali, I think they had a team.
Yeah.
They brought in some, and they had every 3 minutes they change. Every 3 minutes they change.
They had a lot.
They had a lot of them, but we didn't have a substitute. So when we get tired, so Evans, we had to substitute him when one of the people came in, and after doing the breakfast, and he came through and Chifokolo joined that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why, and we lost anyway. But if we were to go back, I think we will win.
But this time around, you have me, so
yeah,
don't worry.
We have you.
I'm a good defender. I'm a good striker, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah, Cuthbert was also, and Cuthbert was better because he had played in the media team, so he was really good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, dear viewers. There you have it. Unfortunately, time is not our best friend, and we just have to wrap it up and say goodbye. Catch us on Wednesday again when we come back with another yet exciting and intriguing breakfast show. Thank you so much.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me. take.